everybody, Loader for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new video. So the new Vendread support got leaked finally yesterday, alongside pretty much everything else from Extreme Force, which, dear lord, it feels like it took forever, considering that Extreme Force comes out, well, the sneak peek comes out on Saturday, and I'll be attending. I can't wait. And we finally got the new Vendread stuff, and I've been seeing really mixed reactions to it. And I wanted to cover it yesterday, but I was really busy, and I wanted to wait until we got some pictures of these, because, as you guys know, I like to look at the artwork too, and we finally got them. Whoever was being the dick who would not show the pictures, put them online finally. But literally just the artwork. He didn't actually put the full card text and everything. So, I don't know. In any case, so we're going to be going over the new stuff, and I'm going to be going over my general thoughts and opinions on these new cards, and whether or not they're finally what Vendread needed, which, spoiler, they weren't. Well, one card is actually really good, but let's get to it. So first and foremost, there's a new ritual monster, Vendread Battlelord, which, by the way, I love this card's name, its artwork, and everything. It looks so cool. It looks intimidating. It reminds me a lot of the Nemesis from Resident Evil, because once again, this deck is heavily based on Resident Evil and Spawn. It takes a lot from both series, and good lord, this thing just screams Resident Evil Titan. Wait, no, what are they called? I think they're called Titans, right? I can't remember, it's been a while. But he looks like the Nemesis. Well, no, he doesn't look anything like the Nemesis, but he looks like he could be one of the Titans. I don't even remember if that's what they're called, but, you know, the big bad guys that are usually the final bosses in Resident Evil games. He looks awesome, and I love it. So he's a level 7 dark zombie ritual type, zombie type ritual monster. Attack 2700, defense 0. And you can ritual summon this card with any Vendread ritual spell, and then you can banish one Vendread card from your graveyard and declare one type of card monster spell or trap. For the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects of that type. If this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one ritual monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do send one Vendread monster from your deck to the graveyard, you can only use each effect of Vendread Battlelord once per turn. So Battlelord is an incredibly powerful boss monster. Just being able to lock out your opponent's monster spells or traps, and just letting you go for that OTK or setting up and stuff. And then, of course, if you have a bunch of the little dudes under him that you use to ritual summon him, he can also, of course, then possibly do even more stuff and just be even more obnoxious. Especially since he's a level 7, which means you can use the level 4 and the level 3 Revenants and Hound Horde to make this thing, and then he can banish a spell or a trap once per turn in your player's turn. That is really, really, really good. I love him. He's really awesome. The one big thing that holds him back is that his effect is not a quick effect, and that it does not last until the opponent's turn. So this guy is basically an archetypal Shockmaster, okay? So for those who are new to the game and haven't been around since when Shockmaster was legal, Shockmaster did basically the same thing as Battlelord, but Shockmaster is a rank 4 Xyz that needs 3 level 4s to go into, and you can D10 Xyz material to call monster spell or trap, and until the end of your opponent's turn, neither player can activate that typing until the end of the turn. Until the end of your opponent's turn. So Battlelord does the same kind of thing, but, however, he doesn't lock out your opponent from doing it during their turn. Now, the big thing, though, is that he does lock out just your opponent. Shockmaster locked you out of doing that stuff, too, which was really obnoxious if you didn't plan out ahead correctly. So, Battlelord does a lot right, but he also just really screws over in certain other things. I've seen a lot of people just basically say that the big thing about Battlelord is that you're going to be using him to lock out your opponent's hand traps, so you don't have to worry about getting Ghost Ashed, or, Ash Blossomed, or Effect Failed. Not that anybody plays that, but, you know, any of the big hand traps. Or that you can call a trap and stop your opponent from being able to drop evenly matched on you at the end of the battle phase. Basically, depending on if you're trying to go for an OTK or if you're focusing more on the setup. The issue with that is that Vendreads need a lot of setup to be able to get their stuff on the field, to be able to make Battlelord and then use his effect. So really, unless you open like stupid well, you're going to have to Drop Battlelord with nothing under him. By that I mean none of the little dudes. Use his effect, lock out your opponent's stuff, and then go off of your on your plays. And hopefully you'll have like a preparation of rights or something, so you can then try and get like a Slayer or a Chimera or something with some of the bonus effects. Still though, I think Battlelord is a lot better than people are really giving him credit for. He still can lock out your opponent's stuff. He can still screw over your opponent's plays during your turn, and he can still make it to where you don't have to worry about any traps or whatever. And if battle traps ever become relevant again, which they just might, holy crap, being able to just stop all of your opponent's battle traps is really, really, really good. So, I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority here, but I really do like this card. He's really good. And then, heck, he has a recursion effect. Oh, hey, you put your opponent kaiju's him. Cool, I get a free ritual monster and a Vendread in my grave, which is really, really nice. Now then, there's also a new Vendread normal well, not really much of a normal monster, but, you know, just a non-ritual monster, and that's Vendread Core. Which, by the way, how in the hell did this, did this get in through the censors for the TCG artwork? I mean, I have to wonder about that with Revenants, with the borderline topless lady in the background. So maybe I shouldn't be expecting too much whenever it comes to the gore side of this deck. But wow, that artwork, it's so creepy. I love it. Love the detail too. Like, same thing with Battlelord, just the detail in the artwork. I don't know who the artist is, if it was Kazuki Takahashi or not, but darn, like, same thing goes for the other Vendread cards. You guys did a great job. So, onto the actual card itself. Vendread Core. Level 1, Dark Zombie type effect monster. Attack 0, defense 500. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one other zombie monster from your graveyard. Spell summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. A Vendread monster, ritual summon using this card on the field, gains the following effect. And you can only use each of the preceding effects of Vendread Core once per turn. So you can only use the effect to summon it once per turn. And then a monster ritual summon using this card cannot be targeted by card effects. Which is really, really good. That's really obnoxious. It means that, like, if your opponent has a Dryden, a Kieran, a Compulse, or like anything that targets, now granted Dryden and Kieran are both banned, but you get what I'm trying to say, is that you don't have to worry about targeting effects. And the big one currently is, of course, Spiral Sleeper. Spiral Sleeper being that, oh, hey, you can pop one of your thing to target two of your opponent's things to blow them up. Well, your opponent can't target your monster now, so that is really, really good. Now, of course, if they're smart, they'll just pop core before you can actually get to, you know, use its effect, but I digress. But however, there's a few things I really, really like about Core. First and foremost, it's a level 1. This opens up a lot of things, especially with like Link Kuriboh. You can just normal summon it, stack it off for Link Kuriboh, use its effect, special summon it, go for your ritual plays. Link Kuriboh is a really good Link monster. I, for some reason, still have not got to mine in the mail. It's driving me insane, but I digress. And so getting a free Link monster out is pretty awesome. And hey, it's a free revival. If you wanted to like play a Monarch or something in here, or heck anything that's tribute summoned, or if Vendreads do get a tribute summon monster, he can be tribute fodder for it. I really like this card in general. It just is arguably one of the best of the Vendread level 4 or lower dudes, the ones that aren't the rituals. My one other thing that I do want to touch on is that I've noticed that a lot of people are complaining this thing's not a tuner. It has a self-revival effect. It's level 1. Everything seems to be pointing it to where it should be a tuner. But personally, I'm not really too concerned about that. This is a ritual deck. It's not a synchro deck. There's no reason for this thing to be a tuner. It'd be really, really just out of nowhere and just out of left field. So I don't get why people want it to be a tuner so bad. I know that zombies, like, traditionally have excelled at synchroing, but there's no reason for a ritual-focused archetype to have a tuner. Then again, you could say the same about Infernoids, and that they had no reason to have a tuner, and that Decatron, really there wasn't any reason for him to be a tuner, but he was anyways, and I don't know. I digress. Maybe he should have been a tuner. I really don't feel like arguing about it. Anyways, next up is Vendread Charge, which, by God, out of all of the artwork for all the Vendreads, it's even out of the new stuff and for the old stuff, this is the best freaking artwork in the archetype. Good lord, I want this as a mat. I know I say that a lot, but I want this as a mat or something. Like, seriously. And darn, holy crap, Battlelord is gigantic. And that's multiple chimeras in the background. Funnily enough, oh wait, no, there's 4. I thought there was 3, which would have made a playset, but no, there's 4. And then there's something ginormous in the background here. I don't know if that's just like his cape or something, or if he even has a cape, but there's something back here that seems to be going up into the sky, so maybe alluding to the next ritual monster. But I think we all know what the next ritual monster is going to be, which will probably be the last as well. So anyways, enough about the artwork, which, dear lord, I love this artwork. Anyways, quick play spell card. Vendread Charge, send 1 zombie monster from your hand or face up on your field to the graveyard. Special summon 1 Vendread monster from your deck. You can only activate 1 Vendread Charge per turn. This card is freaking amazing and is, like, without a doubt the best card in the new group of the cards in the archetype. So, you send in a zombie from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon as Vendread from your deck. Pretty simple, but however, this is what the deck needed quite heavily, okay? A big issue with Vendreads is that they didn't have any easy way of getting out their monsters. I mean, hell, yeah, sure, they all have really good revival effects and stuff, but actually getting them on the field from the hand or the deck or anything, just really they never really had a good way to get the ball rolling. This card does it, and it does it really well. So you might think that, oh yeah, the Zending a zombie is a really bad cost or something. No. Zombies, well, they like to be in the grave, you know, it's stereotypes, which I love it. I don't care, it's zombies. They want to be in the graveyard, so you can send a Mizuki, a Plague Spreader, something that you want in the graveyard, or heck, any of the other Vendreads that has a revival effect, like a Core, or heck, I think this might trigger Revenants, because if Revenants is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can revive it. It might trigger Revenants. I'm not entirely 100% sure. I think it's got to be destroyed. Again, not sure. But this can get your Vendreads in the graveyard. You can get your Hound Horde in the graveyard, so you can then use Hound Horde's effect to bring them back from the graveyard. And then, oh hey, you just summoned out a Revenants and a Hound Horde for for a decent cost. Hound Horde's cost summon it is obnoxious. But however, you still got your stuff on the field, and then you can make a Battlelord or a Slayer, and it's just really, really good. It can also make for great XC, Synchro, or Link plays. I really, really love this card. And then, of course, it just loads up your graveyard. There's almost nothing wrong about this card. I don't get why people are hating on it so much, because you just load up your graveyard, and it's just really awesome. That being said, though, this card is going to be the prime card for your opponent to Ghost Dash now. Okay, I mean, this card and Knights are the 2 main cards that your opponent's going to want to Ghost Dash, and I hear getting Neg 2 is not fun, so let's not do that. You know, try and use this after you baited out a Ghost Dash, or if you know your opponent doesn't have one, or you use Battlelord's effect to stop them from being able to Ghost Dash you in the first place. Another big thing is that, because this is a quick play, you can chain it in response to things. So you can activate one during your turn, set up your stuff, set another copy, and then if your opponent like tries to Raigeki or something, you can send one of your dudes to the graveyard that's like going to get destroyed anyways, and then summon out like a Revenants, and then Revenants will die, and then he'll come back anyways. So it's got some reactive plays too. I really like that. You can also possibly help with OTKing, because you can send it during the battle phase, and then, you know, just go off from there. Again, I can't see that many flaws in this other than Ghost Dash and making you Neg 2, which is never fun. But that's just one card. Anyways, for the final card, Vendread Revolution. Wow, Slayer got his butt kicked, that's for sure. I don't want to know what's going on in this artwork. Apparently, it's a reference to Spawn or something, where, like, I guess Spawn got beat up by the main bad guy and gets absorbed into him or something. So I'll talk about the lore implications after this. So let's talk about the main thing, the effect, what it does. It's another trap card. That makes 3 trap cards for this archetype, which, as a lot of people will know, trap cards are almost never played in ritual decks. If you look at any Gishki, Necros, Cyber Angels, Herald of Perfection. If you look at literally any other ritual deck out there, they almost never have any traps in them. Maybe they might have one or two, especially if it's an archetypal one, but they almost never do. Yet Konami, for some reason, seems to be obsessed with giving them 3 traps, and honestly, I feel like they would have been better as quick play spells, but I digress. So, Vendread Revolution. Discard 1 card and target a Vendread monster and 1 ritual spell in your graveyard. Special summon that monster in defense, and if you do, add that ritual spell to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target 5 of your banished zombies. Just shuffle them back into your deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use each effect of Vendread Revolution once per turn. Once again, this card is just really great, okay? It's another thing that the deck needed. Now, it's a Monster Reborn. It's literally a Monster Reborn. Yeah, sure, you got to discard a card. But again, zombies, they want to be in a grave. Discard a Mizuki. Hey, there you go. So just being able to just Monster Reborn out something and recur a ritual spell is just really, really great. It gets you another Vendread on the field so you can then get their effects. Again, I'm not seeing much of an issue with this card. Heck, it's graveyard effect. You don't even have to wait a turn to do it. It doesn't have that annoying during the turn except this card was sent to the graveyard. You can just send it with Fool's Burial of Goods and instantly get a Pot of Avarice for your ban of zombies. Yeah, sure, you only get to draw 1 card, but it's better than nothing. Really, really, really good card. I think it's honestly probably the best of the 3 traps, like, in all honesty. I almost see no reason to play Reorigin. I can see why people would want to play Reunion, and then this card is just amazing. I love it. It's just awesome. Now, lore implications, if I had to take a wild guess, the last ritual monster we're going to get is a superpowered version of Slayer after he, like, breaks out of this or something. I don't know. If I had to just really take a guess, it's probably going to be, like, called Vendread Destroyer or something, and it's going to be, like, a superpowered Slayer. Just my guess. Now then, as you may have noticed, I really do like these cards. I know I'm in the minority. A lot of people are seemingly really, really pessimistic whenever it comes to these cards. Honestly, the only card I don't really particularly like, if I had to like really say what's the worst, I'd say it's a tie between Core and Battlelord, just because the spell and the trap really do help out with what the deck is trying to do. And then Battlelord is just really great as a boss monster. But however, Slayer and Chimera are just like almost objectively better, like because they just do things a bit better and their levels are a bit easier to accomplish. And in Core, my big issue is he's a level 1, but that's beside the point. So I can see why people are upset, but my big issue is that a lot of people who are upset are playing the deck as Dark Synchro. Okay, Vendreads, ever since their inception, have been used as an engine in Dark Synchro, or Zombie Swarms, or whatever the hell you want to call it, basically spamming out triple Omega, and then going for a hand loop, and just destroying what your opponent has and what they want to do. It's really, really obnoxious, but looking at the archetype and how it wants to play, getting your Vendreads on the field, and then using them as materials to summon out your ritual monsters, giving your ritual monsters, who all 3 have subpar effects. Well, Chimera arguably has the best one on field, but all 3 have their own effects, but then they get more powerful the more souls you sacrifice to summon them. It's kind of weird saying it like that, but that's how the deck has worked. That's how it's intended to work. But people are so dead set on playing this deck like Dark Synchro that whenever Konami releases the deck as it's supposed to work, people get mad that, oh no, this doesn't work with my Dark Synchro build. Okay, I really don't like that. I know I'm in the minority. I know it's not the most best build ever, like the Dark Synchro build is, but that's how the deck is supposed to be played, and Konami's giving us cards to make that better. And then people complain when we get the cards. Like, this is something else that I really do want to talk about in another video, but it's really obnoxious how people complain when we get broken cards, and then they complain when we don't get broken cards. Okay? And these cards, I don't feel like any of them are particularly broken, and I don't feel like any of them are particularly bad. They're just mediocrely good, if I had to say. They definitely are a step in the right direction, but they're not a huge leap. They're like I don't know, a half step. Okay, I really do feel like though that the last set is when we're gonna get the best stuff. My biggest issue with the deck as a whole is that we still don't have a second ritual spell. Heck, we have one, and that's Vendread Origin, I think. No, Vendread Origin. Can't remember the ritual spell. And that's our only ritual spell for the deck. Okay, now technically Reunion does ritual summon, but however, it's a trap card. Okay, and it's one that has a very obnoxious condition that needs to be met, which granted does get better as time goes on, and the deck gets more support. Now then, with all that being said, I have high hopes for the last of the set coming out in Flames of Destruction. And then, of course, once Konami gives the rest of the stuff to OCG, the deck is going to get 1 or 2 OCG exclusives. So it goes without saying that this deck is far from finished. And I really do still have high hopes. I don't think that this deck is going to be anything meta, even with the rest of the stuff, if it gets anything super amazing. But the stuff we have gotten so far is good enough to be a fun rogue deck. I mean, if you want to keep doing Dark Synchro, you be you, but I like this stuff enough to where I feel like the deck is... Honestly, I'm going to have to like sit down and play with it, but in my opinion, just going off of this, as somebody who's played Vendreads and played it like how the deck is kind of supposed to be, you know, getting out your dudes, being basically a towers, and, you know, locking out your opponent, and, you know, having Slayer as a double Trident, being able to banish a spell, banish a monster during your player's turn. I really do like these cards, and it's and I feel like they're a step in the right direction. I'm going to get so much hate for this. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. What are your guys' thoughts on the Vendread stuff from Extreme Force? As I said earlier, I really like these cards. Again, I know I'm in a minority, but I want to see what you guys think. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See you all later. Peace out and goodbye.